Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned. Albino ranks every cat in Pokemon from worst to best. What makes a Pokemon a cat? If it clearly looks like a cat, if the name reinforces the idea that it's a cat, or if a Pokedex entry implies that it's a cat. This list does not extend to foxes, even though they're cousins or whatever, so no Vulpix or any of the evolutions, although that's kind of debatable, but it does include big cat species like lions and tigers. Some Pokemon have potentially cat-like features, but not like explicitly, and those ones don't count unless a Pokedex entry or designation backs it up. It's a judgment thing. Maybe you disagree, but if you're wondering where a Pokemon is that I didn't list, I must not think it's enough of a cat. Still got 34 cats to rank though, including regional and gender variants, so starting from worst and working our way to best. Number worst, Alolan Persian. You gotta be an especially foul and absurd specimen to outrank the cat I put next in this list, but Alolan Persian manages to be the worst designed feline in Pokemon history. Why would you do this? This looks like Garfield before he got his much needed makeover. All of its features are so round and gross, the head, the ears, the eyes. I used to draw cat mouths like that when I was in first grade. This was probably a graphic artist's kid that drew this, and then instead of putting it on the fridge, their dad was like, I'm gonna go fuck up my game. Whoever made this creature should be excommunicado from the gaming industry. Number 33, Purugly. To the surprise of nobody, the cat named after the idea of being ugly is pretty low on the list of best cat Pokemon. It looks like it's really struggling to fit into a shirt. Ugly cats are so repulsive. The whole evolutionary process of cats domesticating themselves was predicated on being cute and charming humans into taking care of them, and then you wonder how shit like this slipped through the cracks. If I was a Glameow, I would never move out of my parents' house. I would stay infantilized forever, and if I ever got caught by a trainer and sent out to battle, I'd figure out a way to teach myself explosion so I could never earn any XP. Purugly is what 20-year-old girls think will happen to them when they turn 30. You blow out the candles on your birthday cake, immediately gain 90 pounds, and start yelling at cashiers. It's only ahead of Alolan Persian because it still looks like a real Pokemon instead of some goofy toddler fan art. Number 32, Female Pyroar. Imagine if Nala had a ponytail. Simba would have absolutely found a hoe in the jungle to bring back instead. Female Pyroar looks like a first-grade teacher who got fired for having an OnlyFans. I'm getting strong, films herself working out at the gym, gets mad if anyone notices type energy here. I have nothing against ponytails, but if you have one, you should consider being a little nicer to people. Number 31, Berserker. Generation 7 introduces Alolan Persian, then Generation 8 decides that the Meowth line needs another regional variant, and we're left with this metal lawn gnome masquerading as an iconic Team Rocket mascot. I'm all for regional variants. I really do enjoy them conceptually. I think they can take a beloved original Pokemon and reimagine them in fun and cool ways, but sometimes you just get Berserker instead. Most of the regional variants we've gotten have been pretty lame, honestly. There'll be a few awesome ones, and then they'll just slap a wig on a Doug Trio and say, fuck you. Number 30, Zeraora. Maybe it's not a cat, but I see a cat, mostly in the ears and feet. Legendary and mythical Pokemon have fallen off to me. Ever since Sun and Moon, I've just stopped caring, so it kind of blew me away that they made this dude basically the mascot for Pokemon Unite in the beginning. It's not even badly designed or anything, it just doesn't look special. It looks like a regular electric type, like Luxray or Electabuzz. Decidedly unremarkable with an inflated sense of relevance that irks me, so I don't love it. Number 29, Persian. You sure this isn't a giraffe? Look at the neck on that thing. Persian is one lanky MFer. I want to feed it an entire river of salmon so it can bulk up a little. Not to Purugly's level, of course, but a bit. Did you know Persian can learn Power Gem, but Aurora's can't? Yeah, there are crimes happening in the world, and my favorite Pokemon is the victim of all of them. Persian is about as close to a basic IRL cat as a cat Pokemon gets, but it's not a cute one. It looks hairless. Hairless cats should get a weave or something. You can't just be bald on your entire body and expect me to want to pet you. If you rub up against my leg, I'm taking a shower. Number 28, Raging Bolt. I've never seen this thing outside of concept art because I didn't buy any of the Scarlet and Violet DLCs because they still haven't fixed the game over a year after they initially promised to. But damn, they turned Raikou into a fucking dinosaur from Horizon Forbidden West. If I climb up to this thing's head, it should show me places of interest on the map. There's something about the design that stops it from achieving real coolness, though. I don't know if it's the colors or the patterns or a combination of both, but there's a little goofiness to it that kind of disparages the atmosphere. It might be the red. Original Raikou only has red eyes. There's no red on its body anywhere, and it's really giving Raging Bolt a ketchup and mustard vibe that I do not jive with. Number 27, Alolan Meowth. There's less wrong with Alolan Meowth. It looks proportional. Its head and body are the right shapes. It looks like a cat that would hang out after class and sell weed to high schoolers. It's not great, but it's not egregiously terrible. Number 26, Galarian Meowth. Finally, the last Meowth or Persian on the list, despite what I said about Berserker. I think Galarian Meowth has a cute charm to it. It's like Karibo, the Yu-Gi-Oh card, just a furry ball with claws that you discard during your opponent's battle phase to reduce the battle damage inflicted to your life points to 0. You probably don't want to pet it since it's steel type. That fur probably feels like massaging a Decepticon, but I don't mind this design. Number 25, Esper. What the hell happened to you? This Pokemon looks like it's been trafficked. I don't think it's very fair of me to judge a survivor, but that's what I've gotten myself into. Esper looks very used, like a disc that doesn't work even after you blow on it. Number 24, Incineroar. I used to hate Incineroar when he was first announced until I started playing as him in Smash and appreciated the wrestler/grappler archetype going on. Still, while I like Incineroar as a standalone Pokemon, I do still hate that he's the final evolution of Litten. With Litten's evolution into Torracat, it felt like they were setting up a cool line of ancient primitive cats, and that the final Evo would be a saber-toothed tiger-looking thing, like a fire-type version of what we would later get in the legendary Chen Pao, but instead Game Freak pulls one of the biggest 180s I've ever seen and gives us a WWE superstar. I will never not lament Torracat not getting the strong and fast evolution it deserves. Number 23, Female Meowstic. Of the two Meowstic, I think this one has the worst coloration, even if it learns more offensive moves and has my preferred hidden ability of competitive. The Pokedex says that Meowstic's unfriendliness is part of its charm, so I guess Professor Sycamore is a big fan of Tsunderes. Number 22, Meowth. Oops, last Meowth for real this time, but at least it's the iconic original one. Meowth has been part of the enduring trio of Team Rocket for decades, going through trials, tribulations, and voice changes while ever trying to catch that meddlesome Pikachu. There's no question this is the most recognizable cat in Pokemon, but it does also suck, so there's that. Horrible stats, and Persian sucks too, so it's never redeemed. But we're not really here to judge battle prowess. Meowth, outside of its fame, is just kind of whatever as a cat. There's plenty others I'd have as a pet first, or want to train first, so Meowth is pretty much coasting on its brand. Number 21, Luxio. Mid-stage evolutions can have a hard time avoiding the awkward teen years phase, and I'd put Luxio in that category a bit. The deck says that it will put its paws on you and then communicate with rhythmic electric pulses, so this would be a great Pokemon for 90-year-olds who know Morse code. Number 20, Glameow. If Glameow is supposed to be the beautiful yin to Perugli's ugly yang, it needs to pull its weight a little more. I don't think Glameow is that cute. It's like a 7 out of 10 who thinks she's beating off guys with a stick. Nah, they're just not really approaching you. Number 19, Delcatty. I'd take this Pokemon just for the built-in neck pillow. Let me snip that off you and bring it on my next flight. I didn't realize Delcatty is literally me. The deck's entry says, Delcatty prefers to live an unfettered existence in which it can do as it pleases at its own pace. Because this Pokemon eats and sleeps whenever it decides, its daily routines are completely random. That is so me, FRFR, guys. It's also like the prettiest homeless dude of all time. Another entry says that it doesn't keep a nest. It just sleeps in random nice spots, and if someone tells it to move, it just kind of wanders off. I should probably put this Pokemon higher on the list, but in practice, Delcatty is an absolutely terrible battler that should never be on anyone's team in-game, so that would frustrate me. And it's cute, but not that cute. Number 18, Liepard. Liepard has this cool, pretty demeanor, and I do love a Pokemon that stalks its prey in the night as it's watching us all with the eye of the Liepard. Okay, well, refunds at the door on your way out. Of course, the Sword Dex has to ruin it by saying don't be fooled by its gorgeous fur and elegant figure. This is a moody and vicious Pokemon. Oh, well, I won't catch one then, thanks. Number 17, Solgaleo. My man got pucks for feet. This looks like a Canadian hockey mascot. Look at the muscle definition on Solgaleo's calves. He does not skip leg day. Granted, he's on all fours, so that would be tough. Doesn't it seem like it should be Steel Fire instead of Steel Psychic? It's the damn sun Pokemon after all. Or sorry, Sune, whatever the hell that means. Bro, look up. Isn't the Sune so beautiful in the sky? Anyway, cool line, but here's a cooler one. Number 16, Male Pyroar. Look at that mane. Now that's a king of the jungle right there, or the savannah, or wherever they live. The deck says the females do all the work while the males are lazy. Well, duh. If you look this majestic, you'd sit on your ass all day too. Bring me my food. I ain't hunting. I might get dirt on this gorgeous, scruffy goodness. They're fire types, but they like to eat their food raw. That's like if I had ice powers, but I drank room temperature soda. Talk about squandering your gifts. Number 15, Florigato. One of the better mid-stages, especially for a starter. Florigato is an adorable kitty with the potential to become a great performer. I think Game Freak killed it with this whole line. I was a Sprigatito main from the first reveal trailer and was not disappointed, except by the game itself, because they rushed the hell out of it and we deserve way better, but I digress. Number 14, Litten. Litten is interesting because it's the first Pokemon I ever saw where I was like, this doesn't really look like a Pokemon, because it seemed like a different art style. I feel like most of what separates Pokemon from other cartoon creatures where you can tell it's a Pokemon is if you look at the eyes. There's something unique about them, but Littens are just different, with the yellow background and the thin irises. You've seen 20 cats prior to this in the ranking, and none of them have eyes like Litten. It's a cute cat, though, and strong, really strong for a first stage starter. Number 13, Litleo. Male or female, Litleo is a cutie. Tell me why its hidden ability is Moxie when it's not a physical attacker. I want to have a little chat with the dev who made that decision. Really, all this Pokemon's abilities are garbage. Rivalry nerfs your damage if the opposing Pokemon is a different gender, and Unnerve prevents Pokemon from using berries, which in PvE is borderline useless. I still have fond memories of spending way too long searching for a proper Litleo in X and Y because the male spawn rate is 12% and no partner of mine's going to grow a ponytail. Number 12, Meowscarada. This is just a fantastic starter Pokemon. Love its stats, love that it gets Protean. I wish they didn't nerf that because it was so fun to constantly switch up types on people by using different coverage moves with like Greninja and Cinderace. Probably my favorite abilities in the game. This is the new best grass starter as far as I'm concerned. Finally, they made something better than Sceptile. I'm not like 100% sold on the design. I feel like it would have gone a lot harder if they made it more evocative of like Nightmare King Grimm from Hollow Knight. That's the sort of dark performance troop vibe I'd have enjoyed more, but I know they had to do some Spanish influence without giving it a sombrero like Crocalor, so I accept the compromise. Number 11, Male Meowstic. This is such cool coloration. The male Meowstic is the more defensive one, with Prankster as a hidden ability, but none of that really matters because this shade of blue is sucking me into a void. I rarely use this Pokemon because I don't think it's strong enough for my taste, but design-wise, I give it an A+. And now for the top 10, number 10, Skitty. If you're a cat lover who got whisked away to the Pokemon universe, never to return to your own world, and you had to find a new or replacement cat to keep as a pet and simulate owning a real cat, Skitty's gotta be the de facto choice. This thing is so adorable, and if it happened to jump onto the counter and nuzzle up against a moonstone you carelessly left there, its evolution would be darling too. Not like Glameow. If a Glameow owner accidentally left 30-some-odd rare candies on the counter and it evolved, they'd probably have it put to sleep. Have a Skitty for a few years to enjoy the kitten stage, then give it a moonstone to turn it into an adult and replicate the life cycle of a real cat, but with an additional 80 years of adulthood because Pokemon live forever if you don't murder them. Number 9, Purloin. This is another great cat choice if you fancy your wallet stolen. Purloins steal from people for fun and then act all cute so they'll be forgiven. They get in trouble and charm their way out of it, just like a real cat. This one I would not evolve though. I'm not trying to scoop up massive lipered shits from the litter box. Purloin is a fantastic kitty design though. It's dark but beautiful. You'll be drawn to the idea of owning one and then spend the rest of your days wondering why you willingly chose to suffer this fate. Number 8, Absol. You may disagree that it's a cat, but the dex subtly backs me up here. Absol is the disaster Pokemon. It's bad luck to see one, and people decry it for seemingly bringing misfortune. That sounds exactly like superstitious people's stigmas against black cats IRL. Absol is a crowd favorite when it comes to Gen 3. I think pretty much everyone likes its design and thinks it's cool, even if it wasn't very good at battling until the dark type got some physical moves. I'm always a fan of monster attack stats, so I don't complain when it's on my team. Number 7, Luxray. The final evolution of the Shinx line, Luxray turns Luxio into an imposing badass and gives him X-ray vision like Superman so he can peep female Pyroar in the locker room. Sure, it takes him until level 80 to learn his best move, Wild Charge, but being a late bloomer isn't all bad, even though it totally is. Luxray is one of those Pokemon that will see middling results on the battlefield, but it's just so cool that I can't help but love it. Number 6, Chien-Pao. I'll level with you, as someone who can't stand seeing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in the embarrassingly pitiful technological state it's in. I didn't play long enough to ever acquire this legendary tiger on my own file, but look at that dude. Chien-Pao is almost exactly what I wanted Incineroar to be, but ice. It's got swords for tusks, it's fast as hell, it's strong. I want more cool Pokemon like this, but like not legendary, so they're accessible and I can have them on my team the whole game. One thing Scarlet and Violet did have going for it are that the overall designs of the Pokemon this gen are good and nice, with not many exceptions, and Chien-Pao helps prove they can still make bangers even 30 years later. Number 5, Zangoose. You're like, huh? Zangoose is known as the cat-ferret Pokemon. Yep, that shit counts, and I'm putting it in my top 5. Both Zangoose and Seviper are probably my favorite Gen 3 Pokemon. I love their dichotomy. Sworn enemies who would love nothing more than to wipe the other off the face of the earth. It's also a go-to for any Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness playthrough, which is my favorite Pokemon game of all time, so anything that has a prominent presence there is getting some boosted numbers. Remember when teaching Zangoose Shadow Ball was a good idea? I love the modernizations of Pokemon battling over the years, but I can still get nostalgic for things like that, or like when it was good to teach Alakazam Fire Punch, Ice Punch, and Thunder Punch. Anyway, Zangoose might be a technicality, but he still kicks ass. Also, fun fact, according to the Sapphire Dex entry, Zangoose usually runs around on all fours. It's only when it battles that it stands up like a slasher villain ready to slice your throat off, so if you imagine it outside of battle, it becomes more cat-like. Number 4 is Shinx. Since the evolutionary line never grows up to be that much of a powerhouse, Shinx is where I like to focus my attention on it being cute and perfect and then pretend it has more potential than it does. From its adorable cry to its friendly guard-dropping design, Shinx is an S-tier Pokemon that represents some of the best of what visual Pokemon design has to offer. Look at it. It looks like it's wearing little black pants, and it's got wristbands so it can hit the club whenever it wants. One of my all-time favorite Pokemon, cat or otherwise. Number 3, Raikou. For the record, this is the only member of its trio that is a cat. Entei's Dex entry specifically says that it barks, so that's a dog and a half, and Suicune is probably a fox if its name is partly based on Kitsune, which I don't know for sure, but I don't see no cat when I look at it. Okay, I just rechecked, and Raikou's Dex entry also says that it barks. But come on, if this isn't a tiger, I'll eat my own ass. I still think Entei is a dog, though, because I'm stubborn and easy to get along with. Raikou, in my opinion, is probably the coolest legendary to ever exist. Seeing this as a kid in gold and silver made my jaw drop. It just looks so damn powerful and awesome. Listen to these Dex entries. The rain clouds it carries let it fire thunderbolts at will. They say that it descended with lightning. That is some Marvel shit right there. Raikou is a force to be reckoned with. Number 2, Sprigatito. Oh my god, it's so cute. Look at it, you bitch. Switching gears tremendously in the other direction, Sprigatito is a tiny, adorable kitty cat I just want to squeeze until it gets me high. Because of the leaf symbol on its face, Sprigatito is affectionately referred to as the weed cat by people who wear backpacks outside of school and smell fucking horrendous. I think Sprigatito is the most darling kitty Pokemon has ever made, and I love it with my full chest. Number 1, Torracat. I want this cat. This is the coolest goddamn cat. I don't even really know how to describe it. I think it's such a bummer that this evolves into Incineroar because this Pokemon deserves an evolution that enhances all the aspects of it that already exist while keeping it fast. Torracat, with its base speed of 90, is unironically one of the fastest Pokemon in the entire Alolan Pokedex because they made everyone else slow as molasses, and it was very upsetting as a trainer who prioritizes speed and offensive capability. So my 100-meter dash winning Torracat was taken from me and replaced with a much slower humanoid cat with pecs and abs. I finally understand the need for Everstones. Torracat is the greatest cat Pokemon of all time. Well, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Let me know if you want to see me do dogs or monkeys or fossils or something in the future, and I'll see you guys next time.